Hi everyone, I am Anish Gupta, the founder of National Law Training Institute and a recent graduate of the National Law School Bangalore, which I believe is the dream law school of the most of aspirants who are watching this video. So as you can see on the screen, we are already entering the month of August. CLAT is on 6th of December, so we barely have 120 days left. So it is very important कि हम अगले 4 महीने right direction में जाएं, we have the right guidance and we are actually doing what matters the most. हमें टाइम पास नहीं करना है, हमें ऐसे टॉपिक्स पर अपना टाइम वेस्ट नहीं करना है जो एग्जाम में कम आते हैं या प्रोबेबिलिटी बहुत कम है जिनके आने की. हमें उन टॉपिक्स पे सबसे ज़्यादा फोकस करना है जिनकी रिटर्न ऑन इन्वेस्टमेंट दैट वी कॉल ROI सबसे ज़्यादा है. So in this video, we are going to discuss the 120-day CLAT prep plan, the 120-day, the 4-month strategy that you have to follow for CLAT so that you are on the right track and you do not get lost in the final phase of your CLAT preparation. So stay tuned, we will be discussing very important things, that is the roadmap for your CLAT 2027 preparation. तो first things first, कई बच्चे अभी तक मेरे से ये पूछ रहे हैं in the month of August that are 4 months enough? Yes, 4 months are enough, but with a few caveats that you have been preparing for at least some time, that you have your reading comprehension sorted. You have your reading speed on track, you have your reading comprehension on track, and you are able to understand a few concepts here and there, like what is assumption, what is conclusion, etc. So if you are a student who comes from a modest background, for example, you have a good proficiency in the English language, then yes, 120 days are more than enough for your CLAT 2027 preparation. But if you are someone who comes from, let's say, a Hindi medium background and do not have a lot of experience reading English comprehensions in a speedy manner, then yes, it would be a bit difficult for you. But again, the answer is not no to the question that are 120 days enough? Yes, they are enough. You don't need more time, you just need better practice. So 120 days, 6 hours bhi agar aap daily lagao, even if you devote 6 hours every day, we are left with 720 focused hours. That is a lot. 720 focused hours are a lot. Even if 5 hours of prep give you 1 mark, we are on track to score 120 on 120. You have to build concepts, then you have to increase your speed, then you have to take more mocks and you have to revise your mistakes. यही trajectory रहेगी. अगर अभी भी concepts clear नहीं हैं, अभी तक आपको पता नहीं है कि assumption negation technique क्या होती है, your first thing should be to build all your concepts. You need to know all the concepts in criminal law, contract law, constitutional law, law of torts, and the recent legal developments that have been happening. After your concepts are cleared, you then start working on increasing your reading speed. Post that, once both the things are done, you have to now put all that you have learned into practice by taking more mocks, and after that you have to analyze your mocks and revise the mistakes that you are making so that in the next mock you do not end up making the same mistakes. Consistent practice will beat all random studying. If a student is putting in 10 hours every day but on topics that have the least probability of coming, or on studying random GK sources or random news articles, then your 6 focused hours are better than 12 hours of random studying. So keep that in mind. Let's discuss what our next 4 months should look like. So for the month of August, if you're just starting out, you have to build your accuracy. And how do we do that? We focus on concepts. These are the major concepts that you need to know entering into this phase of your CLAT preparation. अगर अभी तक आपको ये नहीं पता है, तो first step should be for the next 10 days in August, do this. Understand the theory behind assumptions. Understand how you strengthen or weaken an argument. Understand what is the author's main point, what is meant by the author's main point, and identify how to identify flaws in the author's reasoning. After that, legal mein we have big 4. We have contract law, we have tort law, we have criminal law, we have constitutional law. You should know at least the basic principles of contract. What are the 5 essentials of a contract? Contract with a minor, contract in restraint of trade, contract against public policy. All of these things you should know. Then you should know law of torts के basic concepts like volunty, non-fit injuria, injuria sine damnum, damnum sine injuria, because these are the topics that have been seen in the CLAT paper. Then in criminal law, you should know what the definitions of rape is, culpable homicide versus murder, theft, criminal conspiracy, robbery. All these things are also seen in the paper, assault, etc. And then constitution, of course, we have 2 major topics in the form of fundamental rights, DPSP, amendments. These are the things that are seen in constitution. Defamation is also one topic that can be asked under both criminal law and tort law. Then we come to quants. We have to do these 3 major topics. that is percentages, ratio, proportion, and averages. If you are sorted, if you have thorough accuracy in these three major subjects or topics of quantitative techniques or maths, then I can assure you that your 90% of CLAT syllabus for mathematics is done. There are other topics like profit, loss, simple interest, compound interest, but they all are derivatives of these three main topics, that is ratio, proportion, averages, and percentages. So your goal for the month of August should be to build strong fundamentals before worrying about speed if you are just starting out. But if you are someone who has been already preparing for the last 6 months, then you have already completed your concept building phase, and now is the time that you go all in to building your speed, your reading speed. Then in September, we have to again focus on building your speed if you are just starting out in the last 4 months. How do you do that? You have to start timed practice. You have to do daily one time sectional, and you have to review every mistake. You have to analyze properly whatever sectional or mock that you're taking. What are the target timings for every subject of the CLAT paper? Target English in less than 25 minutes, target logical or CR in under 25 minutes. Then you can spend a bit more time in the legal section, because sometimes there are a lot of trap options, and sometimes the passages are also complex. So we can spend around 35 minutes in the legal section. Quants ke liye not more than 15 minutes, and for GK we have 10 minutes. What should be an ideal sequence of attempting the paper? In my experience of giving CLAT, securing an All India rank 17, and then mentoring over 3,000 aspirants, the best sequence that I suggest to students is the sequence that the paper appears in. That is, you start with English, you then do GK, then you do legal, then you do CR, and then you do quants. These four you can intermingle, you can change between these four subjects, but always do quants at the end. Because a lot of times CLAT has shown in the past that there are some mistakes in the quant section, and not all the time it is 100% accurate. And quants is that one section that if you get stuck on one passage, it could take a lot more than 15-20 minutes. So keep quants at the end. If you are left with time, well and good. If you are not left with time, at least only the section with the least weightage, 10 to 12 marks, come from maths. So the section with the least weightage gets compromised. So that is why we suggest keeping quants at the end. Now we enter October, and October is your mock month. It is the most mock intensive month, as it should be. I know there are festivals in October, but you cannot compromise your CLAT prep because you have a festival season to enjoy. You will have a lot more festival seasons to enjoy in your coming years of life, but this is your make or die or do or die month, that is October. You have to give a lot of mocks in the month of October. Try to take 2 full mocks every week. You can take it to 4 also, 2 to 4. I'd suggest increasing the mocks to as much as possible. When I gave CLAT, I gave around 45 mocks in the last 2 months of my preparation. So I gave around 3 to 4, 4 to 5 mocks every week. So that is something that students can do. I like to stay in groove of the CLAT paper, so that is why I tried to attempt a mock every day and analyze it. But if you're someone who gets overwhelmed and overburdened easily, I would not suggest attempting a mock every day. But of course, you can try to do at least 3 to 4 mocks every month, every week in the month of October. Then spend more time analyzing than writing. Yes, if you are spending 2 hours on writing a mock, try to spend at least similar amount on analyzing it. You have to know why you got an answer right, why you got the answer wrong, and if wrong, then why was the other answer option right. You have to contrast your reasoning between the author and the author's reasoning, so that the next time a similar question appears in the paper, you exactly know what mistake you made and how can you prevent that mistake from happening in the actual CLAT paper. You have to track every mistake. Is it a concept mistake? Did I not know what deformation is altogether? Or was it a time mistake that I knew the concept, but I was left with very less time, so I could not attempt it with full accuracy? Or was it just a careless mistake? I did not read the question stem properly. For example, the question might be asking which of the following is true about this, but you have read which of the following is incorrect or untrue, or which of the following is true except you forgot to read except. So don't make such careless mistakes. Now we are entering November, finally, one last month before you sit for the CLAT 2027 examination, and this should be your final revision month. Since CLAT is on 6th of December, January is the month in which you recap everything, you conceptualize everything, and you and you just take a look back at what you have done in the last 1 year or 4 months of your preparation. So one thing is that you have to do no new topics except GK. GK you can do till 15th of November. You can you can keep reading newspapers and cover GK till around 10 to 15th of November, but not after that. Finish your backlog early. You should ensure that by 15th of November, there is no backlog that is left. After 15th of November, you can start working on your backlog if there is any from the first 15 days of November. But in the first 15 days, you have to focus on completing your backlog in its entirety. You have to revise your error log. I am sure you all must be maintaining a mock diary in which you are entering which mistakes you made, how much you scored, what are the errors that you're committing. So in November, you have to go back to your error log to see which all mistakes have you been making throughout the year, so that in the last 1 month of your preparation, you do not end up making those same mistakes. You have to practice GK daily. That is a non-negotiable. Even if you are not doing new topics, you have to practice GK daily, solve previous year questions, solve your sectionals, solve your mocks that you have given throughout the exam, throughout the preparation, but practice and revise GK daily and give mocks in the time slot of 2 to 4 p.m. Now is the time that you start entering the groove of the paper. Yeah, now is the time you start training your brain in a manner that it gets habituated to sitting during the time frame of 2 to 4 p.m. That is the time for the actual CLAT exam. So give mocks in the time 2 to 4 month slot. So final month is about polishing, not learning. This is the time when you train yourself to give the actual CLAT paper. You are not an aspirant anymore. You are the one who will be sitting for the exam in less than a month, and that is how you maintain a daily routine of yourself. Whatever you are gonna do on the day of CLAT exam, everything you will do in the month of November on one single day. Now let's talk about daily GK plans. So because this is one subject that bothers 90% of the CLAT aspirants. Not anyone is sure about what GK will come in the paper and how should we go about preparing for GK. So what should your daily 90 minutes look like if you're preparing sincerely for your GK? 45 minutes you do your current affairs, and then 45 minutes you do your backlog topics. How do you do current affairs? You are reading newspaper, you are reading in shorts, if you are somebody who likes to be online and read these things, and you are reading your compendiums, the GK compendiums that almost every coaching releases. So these are the three things you are doing every day for your current affairs. And then you have to spend 45 minutes, at least 45 minutes on your backlog topics. Go in a descending order or an ascending order. If you are starting in August, what you have to do, you have to cover first July month, then you go to June, then you go to May. You do not start from January. That is not the correct way to go about covering your backlog. You go in an opposite manner. You start with the latest month. If you are now starting in August to cover your backlog, you first start with July, then you move upwards. You then do June, then May, then April. You do not start with January, because by the time you come to January, you come to May, you would have already forgotten about January. But if you are starting with May, if you are starting with July, you will anyways come back to July, because that is the more latest month, recent month, and it will be fresh in your minds when it is when you are sitting for the CLAT paper. So go in a ascending manner. Finish your backlog without falling behind one daily news. So do not make the mistake that most aspirants make, and that is you are covering GK backlog, but you are not doing your daily current affairs. Because if you are doing this, then you are creating another set of backlog for yourself. For example, if you in August you are covering July news only, then you are now creating an August month's backlog that you'll have to cover in the month of September. So do not make that mistake. Cover current affairs from August and cover current affairs, cover backlog from July simultaneously. Devote both the times so that your covering your backlog does not take a hit on reading daily current affairs. Study GK faster, the 5-minute rule. For every topic, you need to know these non-negotiables. Do not spend a lot of time researching everything about the topic, because it is a very slight chance that you will know all 5 to 6 questions that follow a passage. A good target, good attempt for the GK section is that you know around 4 to 5 questions or 80 to 90% questions in each passage. And that will be sufficient if you cover, that will be answered if you cover these 4 major things. What has happened? If an event has happened, what has happened, who all were involved, what are the parties involved or the stakeholders involved, why is it important for CLAT, and what is the current status, plus link it with the static status. If a thing can be linked with its historical past or significant past, then link it with that. These are the 4 things that you should know for every topic. This is the bare minimum. Time management rules: don't waste marks. How do you do that? You skip difficult passages quickly. If there is a passage in logical reasoning, let's say a topic, clocks and calendar came, for example, and you haven't studied clocks and calendar at all during your CLAT prep, so do not take that chance of trying to solve it in the first time, at the first time in the CLAT paper. Skip it. Go to the next section. Go to the next passage. First, solve everything that you have already prepared for. If there is something that you do not know or you're finding it difficult, CLAT timing, CLAT exam is not the time you play on your ego. Let go of your ego and solve that you already know. Go to the easy passages. Return later if time remains. Don't spend too long on one quant set. Again, if you are a maths expert, if you consider yourself a maths expert, but there is one passage that you're not able to solve, do not get stuck on it. It is always recommended that you keep moving in the paper. You do not become stagnant, because that will affect how the entirety of how you approach the paper. So do not spend too long. Easy marks matter more than difficult ones, because difficult ones are those that most students will get wrong, but easy ones are those that most will get right. So at least to be in the race of top 5 NLUs, do not mess up the easy questions. You can go back to the difficult ones if you have time, but do not mess up your easy questions just because you spent a lot more time on the difficult ones. Daily study plan, how your daily study plan should look like. So we have discussed 90 minutes for your GK, so 1.5 hours for GK, around 2 hours for sectional test plus analysis. If you're giving a mock, then you can spend around 3 hours, and that would be 2 hours on mock plus 1 hour on analysis. So sectional test plus analysis or mock plus analysis should take around 2 to 3 hours. Then you do legal and logical practice, and then you do your quant practice and maintain an error log. This is how an ideal time split should look like in the last 4 months of your preparation. Stop planning, start solving. 120 days. 120 days are all you've got to crack the dream law school. If you are someone who wants to be where I was for the last 5 years, these are the 120 days that you have to account for. These are the 120 days that you have to give everything for. पूरी लाइफ आपकी सॉर्टेड रहेगी अगर आपने इन 120 दिन में अपनी सिंसेरिटी के साथ पूरा diligent होके you have put in the hard work and you have solved every mock that comes across your way, you have solved every sectional that comes across your way, and you have practiced every GK question that you can possibly think of. So these are the 120 days. You have to make the most of them. You do not have to fall behind the competition just because you are not putting in the best of your efforts. Your parents are counting on you, your friends are counting on you, and your mentors are counting on you. Everyone has that expectation that you will crack CLAT and you will enter the dream law school that most of your parents and friends have dreamt that you will enter. So do not let anybody down. Give your best in the last 120 days. And if you are giving your best, what I can tell you is that destiny has its way. You will enter whatever you are dreaming of, but just give your best. Our goal is CLAT 2027. We have 720 hours. So give your best in the 720 hours. Success comes from consistent execution, not perfect planning. Nobody is perfect during their CLAT prep. One thing that beats perfect planning is consistency. Just stay consistent. Show up every day, even if you're not feeling like it. Just take one sectional every day. Read the newspaper, read the daily GK, and you are good to go. So that is it from this video. Hope you found it useful. If yes, please let us know in the comment section, because that is our biggest motivation to come live every single day and make useful videos for you. That's all from this video. All the best for your CLAT prep, and we'll keep seeing you in the next 120 days of your CLAT prep. Thank you so much.